When people hear Peru, they usually think of one place: mountains, ancient ruins, something far away. But arriving here feels different than expected. What surprises most visitors isn't how historic Peru is. It's how quickly the environment keeps changing. You don't settle into one landscape. You keep adjusting. And that never really stops. This country doesn't move in straight lines. Traveling through Peru feels uneven. The road climbs fast. The air thins. Then suddenly, everything drops away. Here's the first surprise. You can go from sea level to extreme altitude in hours. Your breathing changes. Your chest feels tighter. Each inhale a conscious effort. Your pace slows. A simple walk becomes a measured calculation. Your body notices before your eyes do. A slight headache pulses at the temples, a quiet signal of the shift. Peru doesn't ease you in. It shifts abruptly. One moment you're on the Pan-American Highway, coastal fog clinging to the cliffs. Then the ascent begins, not a gentle slope, but a series of relentless switchbacks, carving into the mountain's flank. The vegetation outside your window transforms in real time. Sparse coastal scrub gives way to low shrubs, then to quechua trees with their papery bark, twisted and hardy. The temperature drops not by degrees, but by chapters. You pass through layers of cloud, and when you emerge, the world below is a distant, hazy memory. The geometry of the land is all sharp angles and steep ravines. A city built above comfort. Arriving in Cusco, movement feels heavier. Stairs feel longer. A short flight becomes a test of will. Walking feels slower. You pause, not to look, but to breathe. The air feels incomplete. It's not that there's less oxygen, but that your body has forgotten how to find it. Here's the shock. This city sits over 3,400 meters above sea level, and it functions normally. People work. Market vendors haul sacks of quinoa with ease, their breath steady. Kids go to school. They chase soccer balls across a dusty pitch, their laughter uninterrupted by the thin air. Life doesn't pause. The city thrums with a rhythm perfected over millennia. Altitude here isn't an obstacle. It's background. But look closer. The architecture itself is a response. The streets are narrow, not just for charm, but to break the wind. The plazas are sunken, creating pockets of still, slightly denser air. The foundational stones of the Inca walls, massive, interlocked without mortar, seem to root the city directly into the mountain, as if drawing stability from the earth itself. You see women chewing coca leaves, not as a tourist ritual, but as a daily, practical act to soothe the body's protest, a place that shouldn't be where it is. Reaching Machu Picchu feels indirect. You don't arrive casually. You approach gradually. You take a train that snakes alongside a raging river, the Urubamba, its roar a constant companion. Then, a bus climbs a dizzying dirt track, clinging to the mountain face. The final approach is on foot, through a stone gateway that frames nothing but sky, until you step through. The site sits between peaks, not on the highest point, but exactly where visibility matters. Here's what surprises visitors. This place wasn't built for display. It was built for location. Clouds move through it. One moment the ruins are sharp and clear. The next, they are soft ghosts in the mist, then gone entirely. Weather changes quickly. Sun, rain, and cloud can cycle through in minutes, each revealing a different texture of stone. Silence feels intentional. Even with crowds, there's a hushed quality, absorbed by the green mountains that cup the city. It doesn't dominate the landscape. It fits inside it. The genius is in the alignment. The structures are terraced not just for agriculture, but to prevent the mountain from sliding away. The windows and sacred stones are positioned to capture the solstice sun. The drainage system, a network of channels cut with precision, still functions after centuries of torrential rain. This was a celestial observatory, an agricultural powerhouse, and a spiritual sanctuary, all woven into one defensive, self-sustaining position. You realize it's not a city placed on a mountain. It is the mountain, carefully sculpted and reimagined into a city. If you're interested in places that don't make sense at first, but become clearer once you're there, subscribe. This channel explores travel beyond obvious explanations. A mountain that changed color. Further east, the land looks artificial. Stripes of red, yellow, and green cut across a peak. This is Vinicunca, the Rainbow Mountain. Here's the shock. This isn't paint. It's mineral layers exposed by erosion, a geological ledger. For most of history, this mountain was covered by snow and ice. It was hidden in plain sight. It didn't become visible until recently as the climate shifted. The colors are a chemical archive. Iron oxide for red, sulfur for yellow, chlorite for green. What feels surreal here is also temporary. The wind still scours the slopes. The pigments are fading, grain by grain. You are not looking at a permanent wonder, but a momentary reading of deep time. And then the land flattens completely. Desert with no business having water. In southern Peru, sand dominates. Wind shapes everything. Dunes rise like frozen waves, cresting over 100 meters high. Movement is slow, measured in shifting shadows. Then suddenly, water appears, a perfect, startling mirror. This is Huacachina. Here's what makes it strange. An oasis surrounded by dunes, with no visible source. A lagoon born from an underground aquifer, a secret reservoir weeping to the surface. Palm trees, boats, human settlement. It feels staged. It isn't. The desert simply allowed it. For centuries, it was a local secret, a green parlor for the wealthy. Now, dune buggies roar up the slopes, yet the water remains impossibly clear and still at the center of the noise and sand. It is a lesson in contradiction, a place of frantic adventure, built around a pool of profound stillness, a canyon deeper than expected. Driving south, the land opens into emptiness, then drops away, not with a cliff's sharp edge, but with a terrifying gradual revelation of scale. This is Coca Canyon. Here's the shock. It's more than twice as deep as the Grand Canyon. At over 3,270 meters, it is one of the deepest cuts on Earth. Villages sit along the edges, their terraced farms like green stairways descending the rock. Farming continues below, as it has for over 1,000 years. This isn't a viewpoint. It's a working landscape. At dawn, you don't just see the depth. You see it come alive. Condors, with wingspans wider than a person, rise on thermal currents from the canyon floor, using this immense void as their daily highway. Depth here isn't dramatic. It's normal. It's functional. It is both a barrier and a home. The canyon isn't just looked into. People live within it. A vertical world where life clings to every possible ledge, where the country changes again. Travel east and the Andes end abruptly. Humidity rises. The air thickens. Green replaces stone. This is the Peruvian Amazon. Here's what surprises most visitors. There's no gradual transition. The mountains stop, and the rainforest begins. Peru doesn't blend environments. It switches them. The coast that defies itself. Head back west to the shoreline and another contradiction emerges. This is not a coast of tropical warmth, but often one of gray mist and cool currents. The Humboldt Current runs cold here, drawing life from the deep. What looks barren on the surface teems beneath. Fishing boats return at dawn not to white sand, but to cliffs and rocky bays. Even the ocean feels different. It's a desert meeting the sea. Why Peru feels unpredictable? Peru doesn't settle into one identity. It's altitude and heat, stone and jungle, dry coast and dense forest, a cold ocean beside a desert. That's why it feels disorienting. The country doesn't guide you. It responds to geography. You adapt, or you slow down. Peru isn't defined by a single landmark. It's rapid change, sharp contrast, landscapes that don't transition gently. These places weren't shaped for visitors. They were shaped by collision, tectonic plates, ocean currents, and atmospheric shifts. Here, geography isn't a setting for history. It is the active character. If this video changed how you think about Peru, subscribe. Because some of the most surprising places to visit don't reveal themselves gradually. They confront you all at once.